Hello and welcome to another Pauper video. Trophy Tuesdays are back, baby! We are going over the 5-0 lists from the Magic Online leagues as they're now being posted in their full extent. And it's pretty exciting to see how all the decks are, morphing and changing and all the spice in the Pauper leagues that actually trophies. So just stick around. Before we get into today, make sure to check out cardmarket.com, the largest seller of Magic the Gathering cards in Europe. Make sure to like and subscribe, leave me a comment, let me know what you thought about this video if you like this kind of thing. And then check out patreon.com if you want sideboard guides for familiars, Tron, Storm stuff. That's where I put all my things. Also make sure to check that out if you want videos ahead of time as I record them. I will post them to there before they go live. So, what is going on in the Pauper leagues? This is taking the league metagame from 7/14 to the 20th, so last week. And we've got an interesting metagame. We had Ponza as like this huge problem at the beginning of Modern Horizons 3, but it seems like decks are kind of adapting to that and being able to force through. So now in the Pauper leagues, Mono Red has had the most trophies with 28 or 18.67%. So we actually had 150 trophies in the last week, which was way over the normal trophy amount for the previous Trophy Tuesdays that I had been doing. So we have 28 Mono Red, next is 25 with Affinity, next is 21 White Weenie, and 20 Brood Scale combo. So after that, it drops to 7 for Madness Burn, 5 for Gruul Ponza, and goes down from there. So interesting to see. It feels like maybe that's a healthy metagame, but you look at this chart, it's a little crazy to see so much of the meta being just a few decks. But these are the strongest ones. Mono Red always has been strong. Affinity now seems to have found its lane and is able to handle Ponza and the rest of the metagame. Plus Affinity being very good at defeating the Brood Scale combo is important, I think. We've got White Weenie that dumpsters Mono Red and Affinity. And then you have Brood Scale over here, which I'm not sure exactly what the best version of Brood Scale is or what it's preying on, but it seems to be a very, very strong combo. I mean, A plus B is just really, really strong. So let's go ahead and get into the days. So for day one on the 14th, so Sunday of last week, we had nothing really standing out. Affinity, White Weenie, Brood Scale, and Gruul Ramp all at 2. So this Gruul, and then let's go ahead and get into the rest. Sorry. Mono Red at 1, Madness Burn at 1, Ponza at 1, Gardens and Walls, and Mono Red Blitz all with 1. What was interesting to see was this Gruul Ramp is kind of back. Choco-Chen was able to get a 5-0 with Gruul no Ponza, is what I like to call it. It's basically just ramp and threats. Very interesting. And then we saw a White Weenie here from Double P. White Weenie with the 4 Dust to Dust, and you can always cast it really early, is very strong against Affinity. And with so many Prismatic Strands in the main deck, they're very good against Mono Red. They're also bringing in Eagles of the North, and I think White Weenie has like really shown to be good after Kerblanxy had the final split, so that's pretty awesome. Here's a Mono Red Synthesizer, kind of the new version of it. They're dropping Reckless Lackey, going to just the 4-ofs for all these creatures, and then this player is playing a bunch of random effects with 2 Reckless Impulse and a Fire Blast. They've got the Cold Oath Rebirths, but they're splitting Chain Lightning and Goblin Grenade. There's a lot of goblins in the deck, so Goblin Grenade has a lot of reach along with the Fire Blast. We had a Ponza player playing Ponza and splashing for Jund, specifically for 4 Trespasser's Curse in the sideboard, which has been a sideboard card against the Brood Scale deck. And the Ponza has generally been not very good against Brood Scale, so that kind of makes sense. Then here's a Brood Scale combo from Sunday. They're playing 4 of Brood Scale and the Glee, and their win conditions are 1 Nightblade, which is a life drain effect that can actually works through Curse, and 1 Makeshift Munitions. And they're not even playing red lands. They're just gonna use their 4 Energy Refractors and Chromatic Stars to get the Makeshift Munitions on the table. They also have 1 Evolution Witness, which I think is kind of cool, and only 6 protection spells, which I'm also kind of on board with specifically, with 19 lands, and I like that as well. One interesting thing about this deck is Snuff Out is really good at stopping your opponent's combo post-board because it kills the Brute Scale. But when your opponent brings in something like Mesmeric Fiend, Snuff Out does not handle the Mesmeric Fiend. So that's been an interesting thing to see as you start playing mirror matches. On day 2, we've got 6 White Weenie trophies and 4 mono red. So it's starting to see the trends here with a couple of powerful decks for the day. We have 1 Affinity, 2 Brute Scale, 2 Ponza, 1 Gardens, 1 Madness Burn, and 1 Mono Blue Fae. But this Madness Burn is not just your regular Madness Burn. It is mono red Gruul 4-color Madness Burn, which is so awesome. I actually put out a video of this list specifically, but it's got Basking Root Wallow, which you can pitch and cast for 0 mana. And then it's really leaning on Sneaky Snacker, which you can get back pretty easily by casting your Cathartic Ring or your Faithless Lootings. I really like the idea of this deck, and I'm really happy for Floyza, who was the creator of the Mono Red Tron, really pushing it again, so congratulations to them. On day 3, we've got 7 Affinities, and then you've got 4 Mono Red, 2 of White Weenie, Madness Burn, and Orzhov Blade, 1 Brood Scale, 1 Ponza, 1 Golgari Dredge, 1 Gruul Ramp, so Gruul no Ponza, Mono Blue Terror, Mono White Heroic, and Mono Red Blitz. That's the Jordanescu Mono Red Blitz. So Jordanescu is a Polish player who created this list with Immolating Soul Eater and kind of going between Kiln Fiend and Soul Eater for the destroy you with the Temur Battle Rage, and then also go wide with like your Crone Crusader and your Satyr Hoplite and sort of a heroic / blitz deck. And let's see. We have Mono White Aggro by J-Waves, our Mono White champion who's been playing Mono White forever. And they're playing 1 Steadfast Unicorn in the main deck, which is kind of neat. It can pump the team. And 4 Thraben Charms in the main deck. So Thraben Charm has really been the card to push Mono White to be powerful enough to compete heavily. And that's just because it's essentially cast down in this deck and can kill basically anything, given that you're hitting the table super fast. And it also disrupts opponents' graveyards and enchantments. So we have the 2 Madness Burns, and then this is a Mardu Wildfire, calling it Glint Blade, but it's got the 4 Refurbished Familiars, and then 4 each of Core Skyfisher and Glinthawk to pick up the Refurbished Familiars. And you can also pick up and replay your Tithing Blades, so it's kind of like a mid-range control deck. And it's definitely very powerful when you can get the Refurbished chains going. On the next day, we've got 5 Affinities. Behind Affinity, we've got 4 Brute Scale Combo, 3 White Weenie, 2 for Madness Burn and Gruul Madness Burn, which is sweet. And then we've got Call Gates for 2, 1 ofs for Mono Red, Gardens, Mono White Heroic, Tireless Tribe, which is awesome, Mono Blue Fae, Turbo Fog, and a Boros Synth even. So scrolling up, we've got Madness Burn. So Besu actually copied the list from Floyza, and then Sesta went even further with a really awesome Affinity Madness Burn deck. They're playing 4 Bristling Backwoods, 4 Great Furnace, 4 Bridge, 4 Bridge, and this allows them to play the Root Wallow package, but also Goblin Tomb Raider as a Goblin Guide here. They're playing Sneaky Snacker, and also 4 of Writhing Chrysalis, which is crazy. So they get to play 4 Galblast, 4 Fiery Temper, and 2 Lightning Bolt for 10 total burn effects. And they're playing Highway Robbery over the Cathartic Reunion, which I think makes a lot of sense. They've got Faithless Looting as well. So this is something I'm interested in trying out. So let me know in the comments if you think that that's a video that you'd be interested in seeing as well. Here, Gianlupo on Tireless Tribe. Very cool to see. They actually trophied again later in the week. It's nothing out of the ordinary, really, but it's a pretty cool deck. You use Tireless Tribe, you discard all your hand, you flip it, well, you hit it with the inside out to switch its power and toughness, then you discard your hand and slam in for lethal. It also uses Whiteout, which you can, it says if it's in your graveyard, you can sacrifice a snow-covered land to return it to your hand, which turns all of your lands into extra discard effects, which is really cool. Grixis Affinity here from Selkas, who is playing the Krark-Clan Shaman plus Toxin Analysis combo. And I think later in the week they moved up to 3-3. But this actually allows Grixis Affinity to be able to defeat Ponza much more easily, since it turns Krark-Clan Shaman into an Armageddon, because Toxin Analysis gives it Death Touch and Lifelink, and you can investigate. So you hit the Krark-Clan Shaman with the Toxin Analysis, then you don't need anything else. You just sacrifice even the clue. You're going to wipe the entire table from the Ponza standpoint anyway, because they don't have any flyers, and gain a bunch of life. Also very strong against mono red. On the next day, we've got 9 mono reds, 6 Brood Scale, 3 Affinity, 2 White Weenie, and then 1 ofs for Madness Burn, Bogles, Dredge, Mono Blue Terror, Red Green Midrange, which was sweet, and a 5-color Madness Boros Bully, which is awesome, and an Elves. So let's move up and see these crazy things that are going on here. Let's see. Oh yeah, so here's the 5-color Boros Bully Madness nonsense. This player is playing the 4, they're going even further on the Madness craze. They've got the 4 Basking Root Walla with the Faithless Looting, and they have Thrilling Discovery to discards. They've got a bunch of Prismatic Strands, Rally the Peasants, even Triplicate Spirits, which has Convoke, and they're playing the 4 Sneaky Snacker. So this is sort of like a mono-white bully, but they're playing Gates. So it's a red-white bully, but it's also 4-color. Oh man, I love this. This looks like something that needs to be played as well. And we have a red-green mid-range, which nobody expected to see. I definitely didn't expect to see. But their curse starts at 3 here with Eldrazi Repurposer and Llanowar Visionary. And for their 1 and 2 drops, they're playing 8 Bolt effects with Galvanic Discharge and Lightning Bolt, and 4 Malevolent Rumble. It's awesome that they were able to succeed here using the early removal spells to get them to transition into the mid game, get the Writhing Chrysalis on the table with your Repurposer and Visionary, and then just slam your huge things like Altasaur, Boarding Party, Generosent, and Oliphant. Really awesome. We got Life Goes On in the sideboard and Pulse of Marasa. Hidden Nursery. Wow, so you can sacrifice the Hidden Nursery to discover 4. Hidden Volcano also discovers. So wow, what a really cool deck from Luca Ravera. Awesome. On the Friday of the week, we have 4 mono reds, 3 affinities, 2 Brood Scale, 2 Dredge, 2 Walls, and then we have White Weenie, Ponza, Gardens, Mono Blue Terror, and a Grixis Wildfire. So this Grixis Wildfire deck is just crazy. We're looking at it. It looks like Affinity. Then there's no Mirror Enforcers, but there are Kenkus. There's Sneaky Snacker, Refurbished Familiar, and Krark-Clan Shaman. And then they've got 2 Weather the Storms in the main deck, and Wildfire, Deadly Dispute, Bargain, 4 Thoughtcast. So it seems to be like Affinity without Affinity, and I don't understand. It's really interesting to see this here. Got 4 Blood Fountains in the deck. So I think they're just going to go Refurbish Familiar, Kenku, sack these, Kenku again. I think that seems to be the plan. Like, we're just going to go over the top of you by reusing all of our creatures. Really cool. So congrats to Sizors. I'm going to call them Sizors, but I have no idea how to pronounce this. So if anybody knows, let me know. Here's a Walls combo. So this looks like a pretty stock Walls combo version with just combo in the main deck from Zamu, who is a prolific pauper grinder. On the last day of the week, we have Mono Red at 4, Affinity, or 5, Affinity at 4, White Weenie at 5, Brood Scale at 3, Bogles with 3 trophies, and then we have Madness Burn, the traditional Grixis Madness Burn there's just red-black with the Sneaky Snacker. And then have the Grixis Wildfire again. Another player took that Wildfire deck for a trophy. A Tireless Tribe again from Gianlupo, and a Mardu Mardu Metalcraft from Lost on Kato. And what's interesting to me here is Bong 0411, they were able to trophy 3 times with the exact same list with Mono Red. So let's look at what's going on here. They've got the 16 creatures plus 3 Reckless Lackeys, and then they're just going all in with 4 Chain Lightning, 4 Blast, 4 Bolt, 4 Kuldotha Rebirth. They've got 8 artifacts and 17 lands. Plus 4 raises in the sideboard. Ugh, pain. 4 End the Festivities for the Mirror, 3 Gorilla Shaman, and 4 Cast into the Fire for Affinity. So they really don't want to lose to Affinity. That's interesting. Raise can also be used versus the Kagates deck to take out all their lands and stuff and try to make it so that they don't get the ability to make a Sacred Cat Gigantic. So, yep, that covers the lists for the week. So let's get into what happened in the challenges on the weekend. On Friday of the week, Kerblinksy posted this, and make sure to check out their Twitter and YouTube channel. There was let's move this a little bit bigger. So Grixis Affinity as the most played deck. Then Kuldotha, White Weenie, and Broodskill. Looks like the most successful of those was White Weenie. On the next day, we have White Weenie being the most played deck, tied with Broodskill. But none of these top decks were that good, except for it looks like Golgari Gardens at 55%. Obviously, that's pretty good. 7 players. And then Kuldotha dropping quite a bit, probably due to White Weenie. On the Sunday of the week, Grixis Affinity most played with 13%. Then Kuldotha, Blue Terror, and Golgari Gardens, White Weenie down here, and Broodskill combo. So over the weekend, we saw the top 5 decks changing drastically from event to event. So people are saying this seems to be indicating a very healthy metagame. It certainly seems to be the case that there's a lot of flux in the metagame. Looks like on this day, the most successful decks in the top 5 was White Weenie again, and then Mono Blue Terror coming in next. The only one with not a very good win rate in the top 5 was Red Kuldotha. That's interesting to see. So that covers the trophies for the week, the challenges as well. Sorry, brain fart there. And make sure to let me know in the comments. Let me know what you thought about this kind of video. Hopefully you all enjoyed. We will see you next week. I'm going to bring this back. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you in the next video.